Beal getting free to the corner. Kuzma for the lead. Oh, look at the pass by Kuzma. Kuzma for three again.
Clutch.
Kuzma left all alone for the easy dunk. Kuzma for the win. Got it.
Big shot, Kuz.
Look at that bag of tricks. Kuzma tries.
I mean, it wasn't that nasty, honestly. I mean, I dunked on him.
That got everyone up off their feet.
His fashion choices made headlines, but there's no question Kyle Kuzma is not afraid to take chances. Whether it's taking a chance with a gigantic pink sweater that had the NBA world buzzing, or taking a chance by launching a three with the clock winding down and his team needing a bucket.
Welcome to DC Above All. We're taking a look back at some of our favorite moments from Wizards pregame and Wizards postgame. I'm your host, Wes Hall. Over the next half hour, we're going to take a look at some of the best moments, some serious and some fun. And that's exactly what Kyle Kuzma is. As his performance on the court improved, well, guess what? His spotlight grew bigger and bigger. And, of course, as you can tell from his pregame outfits, Kyle Kuzma is ready for his close-up. In fact, when the Wizards needed a face for their upcoming Cherry Blossom uniforms, who do you think they called?
We just shot for the Cherry Blossom jerseys at the Japanese embassy. Got some dope shots, looked really good. The suit and the jersey is one of a kind, having the Cherry Blossom jerseys. You know, it just looked really, really nice together. We're headed to the yacht right now, doing the same thing we did at the tea house at the embassy. You know, look cool on the yacht.
Once you work with a guy like Kuz, you don't want to work with anybody else. With people like Kuz, they're always taking it to the next level or challenging myself to take it to the next level too. So I live for working with people like that.
All walks on the catwalk aside, Kyle Kuzma was extremely impressive in his first season with the Wizards. Over 17 points per game, a double-double machine for much of the year, and who could forget Clutch Kuz? He sat down with our Chris Miller to take us inside his mind as he releases the ball with time winding down.
My guy, Kyle Kuzma. Let's go to Detroit first.
Beal to Gafford. Kicks it out in the corner. Kuzma for the win. Got it!
When you hit that shot, do you hear anything? Does everything kind of focus in? Do you have tunnel vision when the swing happens?
You have tunnel vision, but you try to block out everything else. Like, you know, let's say the swing happens, and you'll hear the crowd, because the crowd know you're about to shoot.
Yeah.
And you'll hear the crowd like, and then that's the last thing you kind of hear, and then you just fire. And then it's like, and then it's just like, bye, you know?
So we talked about the shot in Detroit. I thought some of your best joy was that let's go home in Cleveland too.
Yep.
Beal getting free to the corner. Kuzma for the lead. Wizards take the lead by one.
You also hit one against Chicago where we thought it was over, and then that damn DeMar DeRozan.
I got a few this year.
So you've had moments here where it's closeout time.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you get your mind into that? Because not everybody wants that opportunity, will take that opportunity and live with the results.
You know, I wish I had that mentality all four quarters. You know, I always hit a shot like that, but when you look at my score sheet, and it's like I'm 2 for 7. I'm like, bro, just do this the whole game. You'd be 7 for 7. But I think just growing up as a kid in my driveway, I think that
the typical backyard 3-2-1.
3-2-1. You know, just doing that over and over and over since I was 7 years old. And then, like, you know, I feel like those moments, you know, started that, you know what I mean? And, you know, practicing it, and obviously loving Kobe and loving clutch performers and loving the sound of the crowd roar, or when air leaves the arena at home like Cleveland, you know, those are like what I live for. Like, it's fun. It's super fun.
You were doing the wave too, like everybody have a good night, drive home safely.
Drive home safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get home safe. It's snowy that day. You know what I'm saying?
What's cool about that though is you've kind of done it enough here already where it's almost expected now. Games close the show, Kuz. Yeah. How do you live with the result if it doesn't happen? Same way as if you hit it? Because are you still even
because at the end of the day, it's a make or miss league. You know what I mean? And you can't dwell over a miss. You know, at the end of the day, I got the shot I wanted. I am my biggest, critic. If I miss a shot, yeah, I'm down on myself at that moment. But after the game, an hour later, it's over. Who cares? At the end of the day, you got 82 more. Obviously it's a little different if it's the playoffs. You might harp on it more, but at the same time, let's go lay down, drink some wine, call it a night. No way to stress over it.
Last season was full of some memorable moments on the court, as we just saw Kyle Kuzma break down. However, there are some moments off the court that were just as memorable.
This past March, the Wizards held MS Awareness Night at Capital One Arena. They surprised radio play-by-play voice Dave Johnson, whose family has long dealt with this disease, with a donation for $100,000 to the Multiple Sclerosis Society. After the shock wore off, Dave joined us on Postgame Live, and clearly the gesture meant a lot to him.
I call him the voice. I've been calling him that for 15 years, and I know you were very emotional earlier, my friend, during the ceremony. The floor is yours.
Well, it caught me off guard, but it just goes to show you. You've been calling me the voice for years, but it just goes to show you what when we have a community like we do with Wizards fans and with our partners, the sponsors that have chipped in for this. When you create a community and you help and support one another, this isn't about just my cause, but it's about whatever help somebody needs is so important, and that's especially in these times. You think about just be kind to people. Just you can make a difference by just trying to lift up people. And that's I went public with this battle I'm having with multiple sclerosis. In part, I still remember I was in Dallas before the 2019 season, and I'm in a hotel room by myself, and I'm afraid. And I'm thinking, well, if I'm afraid, then somebody else is afraid. So let's make it public. And part of why it's so personal with me is there's hope now. There are treatments for multiple sclerosis. When my mom had it, and she died when I was 15 in 1979, there was no treatments at all, and they just told you basically good luck, and unfortunately she didn't have good luck, and so this is a disease you can battle and you can fight, but I've seen it at its worst. I've seen it when a person for several years can't swallow because of the disease had regressed to that point. So you feel the progress we're making. And I'm blessed to be able to continue to do what I do and continue to fight. And part of what I believe I'm supposed to do is let's raise awareness. Let's beat this. So in next generation, that's why Ryan Zimmerman and his wife have the wonderful Zims Foundation, because it doesn't just impact the person who has it, because kids then become caregivers, as I was when I was a child for my mom, who was in a wheelchair her entire life. But there is hope now. But there's hope if we can raise money and continue the research. And it's an expensive disease to treat. One of my treatments, as I lose my mask here, is it costs $75,000. I'm lucky that I can handle that. But one of the sobering things I remember when I was first diagnosed, and somebody said, well, good luck with your Ocrevus, we can't afford it. There's people out there that can't afford it. And but when you deal with things, everyone out there watching this right now, you'll look at your face, you look fine, but God knows what your concerns are in life. You've got some, we all have some. So let's just get together, raise money, help one another. We're going to have more MS fundraisers, but I'm still involved with, I think about Giant Food that helped out tonight so graciously. I got involved with Giant Food with the Children's Cancer Foundation years ago. So the lesson is just, put yourself out there and help one another, and you never know how you'll get that help back.
Coming up, We highlight the women who love this sport just as much as the men and have made their presence known in the basketball community. DC Above All returns after this.
This area is full of basketball talent. We're only scratching the surface. That talent stretches from the front office to the broadcasting booth, where race and gender don't matter anymore. Just ask Megan McPeak, the voice of the Capital City Go-Go, who joined the show on Women's Night from the arena.
You know, as I've told you, as I've told many people, like it's not always great to be remembered as a woman in sports. You just want to be another person that works in sports. I just want to get the recognition for the job that I do as a play-by-play broadcaster and the same recognition that my male counterparts get, because unless they're going to start calling them male play-by-play announcers, then why am I genderized?
Right. What I thought was very interesting about the work that you've put in is you're a hooper first. So you could play, hey, you want me to be a PXP? Cool. I could also do analyst. I could do that. The diversity, how important was that diversity within your craft?
I think for myself, like I got my start in radio and I started out as an analyst, so I have that background. And then to transition into television, I now have that in my background. So throughout this season, I've been filling in for Glenn Consor on radio. I've filled in for Dave when he had the DC United opener in Cleveland. So I've been able to do that. And then I got a call up this year, much like the G League players did with the Toronto Raptors. They unfortunately had a COVID outbreak amongst their broadcasters, and they called to see if I was available. Monumental gave them their blessing, and I was with them for 3 games. So I've been able to just continue to grow myself as a broadcaster, but know that the work I put in, much like you do as a player, much like the guys did tonight with the scouting report with the Golden State Warriors, I've put in that same work with the scouting report of continuing to get better so that when my number is called, I don't have to get ready, I stay ready.
Then there's Amber Nichols, GM of the Capital City Go-Go and a trusted member of the Wizards front office. In essence, she is entrusted with the next generation of Wizard stars, making sure the franchise's culture is instilled correctly from the beginning. We had the opportunity to follow her around for a few days, and wow, is she busy.
Go-Go music is all about the drum. It's the consistent percussion that sets the rhythm for all others to follow. Within the Capital City Go-Go, that drum is General Manager Amber Nichols.
She's been wonderful. I mean, she's invested, she's deliberate. I mean, just her perspective is great.
I think she does a great job of just building culture. Cool, intelligent, very intelligent, and just real, straightforward.
Well, I love basketball first and foremost. There's a part of me that just feels like this is my calling, but I know that because this is my calling, I can't play with it. So I don't play with the opportunity. I embrace it wholeheartedly. I try to do my best in it every day. I try to inspire and motivate others, my staff, my players, people around me, because I know that this is something that I don't take for granted. So I come from a small neighborhood on the north side of Raleigh, North Carolina, low middle class, but very tight-knit neighborhood. Everybody helps everybody. But it was hard growing up. My mom sacrificed a lot. My dad struggled with alcoholism when I was coming up, so it was tough to deal with as a child. And so I just kind of put all of my energy into basketball, and that kind of got me my way out.
It's game night. Is there a part of you the Hoover Amber, or are you GM Amber on game nights?
I'm Hoover Amber on game nights. He held his arm! Oh man, he held his arm! I'm definitely a part of GM Amber too, because ultimately I just want to see our guys play to the best of their ability and showcase what they've been developing all season. But once the game starts, I'm into it. Like I'm ready to go. Good run, Zay. Good, Tay. Good, Tay. That's good, D, Tay. We living. Let's go.
Amber's someone that played all the way through college, so she definitely understands the game. And as a hooper, you naturally, anytime the ball is bouncing, you want to be around the court, on the court. But at the same time, she also brings that calming presence to us too.
I'm in the trenches with the guys. Like, I want them to know that they're not the only one making sacrifices and, you know, trying to get to the common goal we're all trying to get to, obviously. But it makes me happy. I'm passionate about it. I get into it. Like, if I could hop into the drill, I would do it.
Get back, get back, get back, get back!
She understands what it's like to be young. She understands what it's like to, you know, play basketball and try to live your life at the same time. She understands how much we sacrifice for this, how much we committed to this, you know what I'm saying, things like that. So she understands that. She talks to us, she's vocal, she laughs with us, she jokes with us. Like, it's not just all strictly business and stuff like that. Like, she would actually have a relationship, and that goes a long way, you know what I'm saying? It goes a long way for somebody up top. You know, like, I know she got my back.
I'm going to brag on Miss Amber for a minute. When you're talking about player development, she cares so deeply about their off-court development and the lessons that they're learning at such a young age, and she brings so many more programs to them and gives these players a great chance to grow, mature off the floor.
Amber's experience comes from doing it all, both on and off the court. A career that started splitting time between the University of Richmond basketball team and the Athletic Public Relations Office. She has flourished into so much more.
Yeah, so there was my job in ticket sales in Sacramento. I came back here to DC. I was a basketball ops intern, but then I was also working part-time at Nike. Well, I went to the Players Association first, where I was interning there, and then I got my first full-time permanent job at the league office in basketball ops for the G League, and then came back to DC as director of basketball operations to assistant general manager to GM.
She's done so much, so her perspective is really, really valuable, and she just brings a different element to our group. She's steering the ship for where the Go-Go are going, and under her leadership, we've done some really tremendous things this season.
You know, I would consider her part of the Wizards. You know, she scouts for us. She's in charge of very big, for us, investments. She has to make sure we get the very best out of them, and we are full trust of her. And her responsibilities are great, but I know her skill level far exceeds anything we could possibly imagine.
Amber is also helping young girls imagine. Nichols is just the second female GM in the G League and was most recently named to Sports Illustrated's list of 100 most influential black women in sports.
You see a little girl in the stands. What's your message to her about what the possibilities are in 2022 for a woman?
She can be anything she wants to be. She can be me, she can be better than me, she can, you know, do whatever it is that she wants to do. It's crazy the amount of young women that come up to me kind of like starstruck. Like, they're starstruck at me and I'm like, I can't believe this. Like, I'm just little old Amber, but, you know, I know the importance of seeing someone accomplish what it is that you want to do. When there's one, there's others coming. All we needed was, you know, just an opening. And the floodgates are open now, so I'm excited to see who comes after me, for sure.
Still to come, another strength of our broadcast, former players who can break down the action on the court in a way we may not see right away. We're entering the film room after this.
Look, we all think we can hoop, but only a few of us are fortunate enough to do it at the highest level. And luckily for us, some of those guys are actually on our team now. The Film Room, it's a chance for Jason Smith and Tony Massenberg to educate us. And boy, do they ever.
Right here, we're talking about Wes Hall Jr., brand new coach, kind of making sure to get everybody in tune. You see him being activated on the sideline constantly, making sure guys are in the right spot, not just saying, hey, go figure it out. If you fail, you fail. But no, he's getting guys ready to succeed. And that's what you want to see from your head coach. Early on in the season, you saw right here on play, we realized Clutch Kuz came to play for the Wizards because he was knocking down threes at will. Great plays right there from Kuzma. Also, Aul Neto, crafty dribbling right here, getting into the paint, but also sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Whoops. Yeah. Okay. He's on the ground. You think, oh, there's no way this could be a top highlight. He stays with the play. He's got the vision to find his players. The defense is like, oh, he's not doing anything. Wait. We just gave a layup? Staying with the play. Case in point right there. You love to see it. But then your best offense is your defense. A veteran move right here. Sato getting to the team, getting out in transition, but also Ish Smith has the ball in his hands in transition. The big man has motivation to run because Ish will find you. Nice crafty little behind the back pass going over LeBron. Daniel Gafford, keep that in your room. That is a poster right there. Love to see it from the landlord with authority. But also, again, going with authority. You love to see the emotion from young guys. One of those young guys, Rui Hachimura. Not necessarily taking the three-point basket right here, but noticing there is a ton of driving space right here.
Is this
driving
the play?
with his left hand. He's a right-handed player. Goes up 12 feet in the air. Throwing it down with authority, exclamation mark. Let me scream in your face, technical. I will take that 2,500 gladly. You love to see the emotion from the young guys. That's how you want to see your Wizards play all year long. Those were just a couple of the highlights this season.
That was nicely done. Jason Smith on the highlight plays, especially that one with Rui at the end.
Got to finish with a good note right there.
Please do that again, Rui.
Ball moves. Woo, boy, the Wizards look good, man. They look real good. Now, let me show you a little bit about what was going on early. Now, as you see, the drive right here. Gaff with the rebound. We know that's what he does on the boards. But look at the good find right here, Wes.
There you go.
To a wide open Kyle Kuzma, who just takes his time and knocks it down. And again, leading scorer all of last year, Bradley Beal. Known for the jump shots. But every now and then, Wes, he just got to take it to the cup and do a little Keith Sweat.
Wow.
Your body. That's body right there on Rudy Gobert, best shot blocker in the league.
Shout out to LSG.
Taking his time, assessing all the defensive attention drawn to Brad right here. What does he do? Just hands it off to Kuz, knocks it down for an easy three. That's just guys playing off of one another and understanding where to be. Now, my favorite guy right here, Ish.
Mine.
Love to play with Ish. You know why? Because he does things like this, Wes. He can find you anywhere on the court, and one of the guys that he finds with the highest ceiling on the team, right there, you see it on full display, Wes. Daniel Gafford throwing it down with ease, man. He loves playing with Ish because he knows he's going to get the ball. And going back to what we talked about earlier in the season, defense, Wes, this is a great example right here of Denny knowing where the ball is, getting in between the pass, and then leading the break, pushing it down. And at the end of the day, Wes, the ball moves, and the trail dude is none other than the 7'3" KP filling the lanes. That's what I'm talking about, Wes. When that ball moves, man, everybody gets involved. And when everybody gets involved, they feel a part of the action, and that causes people to play with a lot more energy.
Looking for more highlight reel plays coming up this season? Well, that'll do it for this edition of DC Above All. Our entire crew is working tirelessly to keep up with an organization that made a ton of moves during this offseason with postseason aspirations for 2023, and you know we'll be here the entire way. My name is Wes Hall. Until we see each other again, be well. This is DC Above All.